4 starts now.
And happening right now at 4, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is in El Salvador to check on the mistakenly deported Prince George's County man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Van Hollen is just one of the lawmakers trying to get Abrego Garcia back. The senator flew out of Dulles early this morning, and 7 News was there and asked him why he felt this trip was needed.
Look, there are 2 issues. One is freedom and justice for Abrego Garcia, who was illegally whisked away. He's got a wife, 3 kids, and all of a sudden he ends up in a notorious prison in El Salvador. But his case represents a lot more than that. It's about the rule of law. It's about respecting court orders, because that is that is what separates the United States from, authoritarianism and tyranny. Is that we respect the rule of law, regardless of your status or position in society. And if you throw that out the window, God help us, because every American then could be subject to this kind of, terror and trauma.
Alrighty, we got to catch a flight.
The White House released a statement in response to the Maryland senator's trip, and it said in part, quote, Senator Chris Van Hollen is currently in El Salvador out of concern for an illegal immigrant, MS-13 gang member, and human trafficker for whom he, quote, won't stop fighting until he comes home. The criminal illegal immigrant is already home. He is a Salvadorian citizen, end quote. Now, the statement went on to point out several arrests made by ICE in Maryland in recent days, as well as ask, where was the senator's concern for Rachel Morin, who was killed by an undocumented immigrant who was recently found guilty on all counts?
Yeah, and 7 News will continue to monitor the latest developments there in El Salvador.
Yeah, but for now, our Tom Rousey joins us to break down what we know as a whole about what's happening with this case involving Abrego Garcia. There's a lot of things that are going on.
There are, and you heard strong words in that statement from the White House there. They're saying a lot publicly, but one thing we wanted to look into is what are they actually saying in court and court filings? So the White House officials, they're saying those strong words about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and his alleged membership in MS-13. Now, that's something his attorney and his wife completely deny, but White House officials, well, this is what they've said about him.
The Democrat and media outrage over the deportation of Abrego Garcia, an MS-13 El Salvadorian illegal alien criminal who is hiding in Maryland, has been nothing short of despicable.
Look into what is the Trump administration basing that accusation on. Well, in court documents, they point to an immigration judge's decision back in 2019 that Homeland Security had, quote, trustworthy evidence he was in MS-13, and they say that determination was upheld on appeal. Now, court filings indicate that the allegation of MS-13 membership was based on a confidential informant. However, back then, a different judge ruled that he should stay in the United States over fear of what would happen related to gangs if he went back to El Salvador. So different judges finding different things back then, Victoria.
All right, thank you for that breakdown, Tom. And happening just hours ago, the Department of Homeland Security posted on X civil court filings that show Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife once sought a domestic violence restraining order from him. The post goes on to say that Garcia, quote, had a history of violence and was not the upstanding Maryland man the media has portrayed him as. Now, it is important to note that this was not entered as evidence as to why he needed to be deported in the courtroom.
And this morning, Attorney General Pam Bondi commented on the ongoing situation involving Abrego Garcia after she was asked about providing evidence to substantiate the claim that Abrego Garcia has ties to the MS-13 gang. And here's part of her response.
He is not coming back to our country. President Bukele said he was not sending him back. That's the end of the story. If he wanted to send him back, we would give him a plane ride back. There was no situation ever where he was going to stay in this country. None. But he's from El Salvador, he's in El Salvador, and that's where the president plans on keeping him.
We've been very up to date in following each of the steps in this case. You can scan the QR code on your screen to see all of our reporting from start to finish, and we will continue to update that list on our YouTube channel.